Hey everybody, want to take a few minutes to share thoughts on consistency and training and wrestling and how important it is. Wrestling is the most technical sport. It's very technical. There's a lot to learn. You'll never know it all. Other sports are challenging and there's a lot to learn there too, but I can't say that there is as much to learn in other sports. So baseball is a sport I love to watch. My kids love to play. I coached my younger son's travel baseball team this summer. The basic skills are catching, throwing, and hitting. And in the field, catching, you have to be able to field ground balls. You might have to backhand a ground ball. You might have to catch a pop fly, catch a line drive. Pitching, there's a couple different pitches to learn, and that can take a lifetime to build that craft. Batting, it's very challenging. You're trying to hit a little baseball with a bat while someone's throwing it fast and you don't know where they're going to throw it. So it's challenging and it takes a lifetime to hone those skills and perfect, but there's not as many skills, I would say, as wrestling. We just did a foundation. I just shot a video for the foundations group last week, and it was like 15 to 20 skills over the 8 weeks that we're trying to learn. And it adds up quick. Double legs, head inside single, head outside single, sprawling, go behinds, half Nelson, bar arm, cradles, stand up, sit out, switches, right? There's a lot to learn there. And so it's a very technical sport, and we're trying to build a system. We're not trying to teach every move. We're trying to teach quite a few moves, and we're trying to then drill them and get repetitions so kids know them so they can build off them. So we're trying to teach a system of wrestling, and that's different than like a clinic where you pop in and learn a move once and then you don't see it again. But that doesn't work. Kids don't learn that way. They need to see it, slow it down, learn it, and then drill it and practice it and try it in live and try it in competition, and so they can apply it. It's one thing to be able to do it in practice, another thing to apply in matches. So we have to constantly kind of drip that system of moves over them. So we're building, and there's also a frequency point of how often are we reviewing these moves. So it's really important that you're showing up consistently so you're not missing those steps and those blocks. That's one of the things, like, I don't have a drop-in. We don't have a drop-in rate on our website. It's not advertised. It's not against our rules. We'll welcome people to come try us out or come practice with us. It makes our kids better if kids come in and different partners. But drop-ins, to me, it's not really an effective way to train. People coming in and dropping into practice and checking it out, but then it messes up our drills. It messes up our practice because they don't know the system that we're working on. They're doing a different thing, and it doesn't mean they're better or we're better. They just don't know the system, and so it's not a ton of benefit there. Periodization in our training. So we are, in the fall, we're trying to build our technique catalog. We're learning moves. We're trying to learn the moves, learn the techniques, so that when the season rolls around, we are able to review and drill and start to master those skills and apply them in our competition. And then also during the season, we are making adjustments in season. So as we see things that happen to us in competition, we bring it back to the room and say, here's some deficiencies we need to work on, or here's some things we saw out there that we want to add to our system and keep building from there. We're going to teach to the top. So the top 10 to 20% of the kids in the room, that's who we're going to build our pace around. That's who we're going to build our skills around, because that's the group that's setting the pace. So if that, when I first got into coaching at a young age, when I was in college, I was working summer camps for the former Penn State coach, John Fritz. And he gave me this piece of advice, and I always stuck with me, was teach to the top, because if you teach to those kids, then the other kids that are beneath that, maybe they don't have the same experience level or they're a little slower paced, they'll still get something out of it. Whereas if you teach to the bottom, then the top gets bored, it's too slow, they don't get anything out of it. So to make sure the whole group's getting something out of it, teaching that top 20, top 10% is the pace, which means if you're missing practice, and it's one thing if you're like, the whole thing with like our Sunday only doesn't really work real well, but it's better than nothing. But if you're doing the Sunday only option and you're a kid that's been with our program for 4 years, it works, right? You're playing football during the week. On Sundays you come in, but a head inside single. A head inside single backside finish. A far side or a near side cradle. The difference between a half and a bar. You can jump in and kind of keep up. But if you're a kid that isn't used to the system and you're just jumping in on Sundays, it's really challenging, especially in that advanced room or, our high school room, because you're not learning through the week. The foundation room is set up that way. So we don't have time necessarily. We just don't if a kid isn't able to come consistently, and then they're lost, right? It's just going to be the way it is, and they need to kind of understand that. That's okay. I want them to still come, but if we're working on a move that we worked on last Tuesday and you don't know where to start, we don't have time to spend 5 minutes giving you a private lesson in the middle of practice. So, if we demonstrate a move and then we're out working on it and you're right away, the kid's hands up, Coach Coker, I don't know what to do, and you don't know if we're neutral, top, bottom, you don't know the first step of the move, you kind of don't have, you didn't really earn the right to take that 5 minutes from other people, right? It's not time for private lesson time. That's a different thing. We offer private lessons. That's a different structure, okay? I can give maybe a minute of my time to kind of help tweak some things and help, and then I'm on to the next group, and our other coaches are kind of under that same mindset. We can't hover too long and give a private lesson to somebody. It's just not fair to the group. So that's the scoop there with consistency and the importance of it. I look at my daughter does dance, Anna does dance, and I love dance. It's a linear thing where you kind of learn the steps, and then there's a clear test at the end, the recital or the performance where you're getting up on stage and performing, and it's awesome. It takes courage. It takes you have to be capable of the moves. You have to be confident in yourself and your abilities, and it takes hard work and practice. So it's a great thing. The thing about dance is people show up all the time. Like in her class, people don't really miss. Now, there's one thing because it's expensive, right? There's a separate piece here of wrestling economics that's a different conversation, but people don't miss. And, the weird thing about wrestling is this whole drop-in thing. Like, there is no drop-in in most other sports. You don't drop in and check out practice. It's weird that we do that, but we kind of set ourselves up to be, a secondary option for people, which I don't think it's a great way to look at it from a health of wrestling standpoint. But there's no drop-in in Anna's dance class. You can't just pop in halfway through and say, I'm going to check it out, see how we do with these steps and try and keep up. It wouldn't work. I'm saying it, it's kind of silly, right? It wouldn't work. If you miss a class in dance, they did some steps last week and some dance moves last week. And now the next week they want to build on that and then review those moves and do more moves. And that's the same thing in wrestling. That's what we're trying to do. It's building a curriculum, working on those moves. And I would say that maybe the difference with dance and wrestling, not maybe, no, wrestling in a way is like dance because we're learning, okay, you put your foot here, you bend your body this way, you put your hand here, the pressure is such, so you're kind of learning similar to dance in that way. What isn't similar, the difference is you're doing that while someone's trying to attack you and not let you do it. So it's even maybe more challenging, another element in that way. So anyways, that's the scoop on consistency. It's a very technical sport, and technique is the most important part of wrestling, right? Strength, aggression can only take you so far. For long-term sustained success and really enjoying the sport, you have to know the sport. You have to be comfortable with the technique. You have to have that foundation of years of training, 5 years to kind of master, and 10 years to really master and compete at a very high level maybe of the sport of wrestling. So I'll leave you with this. I'm gonna steal this from Coach Joe Fink. He never told me this, but he told it to Calvin, and Calvin has since told me, so maybe a little game of telephone. But 3 keys of being successful are show up consistently, and work hard. All right, that's it for today. Talk to you soon. Bye.